So again, you can imagine if we're out in the wild and we're not actually safe, we're not going to go and lay down and take a nap and eat food and digest that food, right? Like we would die. Something would come after us. So the same thing is in life right now. If your brain is perceiving that threat, you are not going to be able to digest your food. You're not going to be able to rest or to sleep, right? So that's where insomnia comes in. That's where digestion issues comes in. That's where high blood pressure comes in. High heart rate comes in. Ruminating thoughts come in. Constantly feeling unsafe and stressed out. Stress hormones coursing through the body. And then the body is sending that signal back to the brain.
Yeah, constantly in an inflamed state. So pain conditions, like getting into the conditions. I mean, yeah, pain conditions are huge with limbic training. A lot of people do this to heal from severe back pain or any kind of like just, acute injury or whatever. Obviously, people that have any sort of digestive conditions whatsoever. So if you have SIBO, you have leaky gut, it's usually beneficial. People with mold, obviously, STIRS training practitioners have really caught on to limbic training.
Psychiatric medication withdrawal can really get a person stuck.
Psych med withdrawal, huge. Actually, even there was a study recently on long COVID. People have reduced long COVID times by like 40%. That was a Gupta study. So I thought that was really interesting. But there's so many. I'm sure I'm missing on tons.
And remember too that this part of the brain, it's about perceived threat, right? It's not about actual threat, but perceived threat. So if you believe that you're not safe and you believe that somebody's out to get you or that you're not going to be okay or you're not going to make it out of this, or your belief really comes into play here because that's what your brain is responding to. So if we want to get out of this chronic stress cycle and we want to be able to get into that parasympathetic nervous system where we can rest and digest and sleep, then we can affect this two different ways. And one is by helping the brain, and one is by helping the body, because they're sending signals back and forth to each other. So it's really important that we're addressing both aspects. So the way that we can address the brain is by our thought patterns, right? By telling ourselves that we're safe and by believing that we are okay. Not just that we're going to be okay, not that we hope that we're going to be okay. That's not effective. That's still really, really unsure. We need to be sure that we're safe and sure that we're okay. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to help our thought patterns, to help the brain. And then there are things that we can do for the body. And so movement can help, breathing can help, meditations can help. There's so many different exercises that we can do to help the body send the signal back to the brain. So if we're doing both of those, we're training the brain and we're doing exercises with the body to send positive signals back to the brain, that's how we can break that cycle. And those of us who have been stuck in the chronic stress cycle for years, it can take some time to really get out of that cycle. And so it's important that we do this stuff continuously. Like Scott said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen because you do something, you write a positive affirmation for a week and then, okay, I don't feel any different. It's really about the intention behind it. And again, it's about that belief. Because if you don't believe your affirmations, it's going to be a lot harder to get out of the cycle. If you don't believe that you can do this, if you don't believe that you're healing, if you don't believe that you're okay, you don't believe that you're safe, it's going to take a lot longer and it's going to be